Good afternoon, everyone. A quick thank you to Danielle and Jim, everyone at EDUCAUSE and AWS for allowing us to be here. We're very thankful for the opportunity. My name is Mac Myers. I'm the co-founder and president of Mesh My Campus, also known as MESH, Campus Communication for the 21st Century. 3 years ago, I was taking my first entrepreneurship class as an undergrad, and our first assignment was to come up with a business idea. Later that night, I was trying to get in contact with some of my classmates and trying to ask a question of what type of ideas are you guys thinking of, because I didn't want to come to class with the same idea as anybody else. I very quickly realized that I had no way to get in contact with my classmates. So I quickly thought to myself that if I wanted to send one text message right now to my entire class, I don't have the ability to do so. So the next class, I came to the classroom and pitched the idea for group chats for the class. It ended up receiving the most amount of votes amongst my peers. For the remainder of the semester, we spent putting together pieces of the business model. In the next year and a half of my undergraduate career, I personally conducted extensive research into both the higher education technology market and the problems that students and faculty face every single day in the way of communication on campus. Here are some of the things that I found. I found that 96% of students are dissatisfied with the tools that are given to them for classroom communication. That is email, learning management systems, and whatever other tools the university may be pushing on them. The second was that 94% of students are already using real-time messaging as their primary means of communication. Third, on the contrary, 80% of businesses are using real-time communication for their internal team communication as well. And if you look at the bottom figure, 2%, and that should have said less than 2%, of universities have adopted real-time messaging. The last thing I noticed throughout my time doing research was a lot of this, and I'm sure a lot of you out there are able to relate. Email has become a burden for people, and this is not the way that people communicate. This is. So introducing MESH. MESH is a campus communication tool built for 21st century students, faculty, and staff. With MESH, students, faculty, and staff have the ability to communicate and collaborate with anyone on campus in real time without having to gather phone numbers or rely on email. MESH is a FERPA-compliant product. It's a perfect complement to a learning management system. And also in MESH, users have the ability to discover different things on campus, such as additional people, student organizations, and down the line, further resources. Coupled with the communication and collaboration aspect of MESH, we developed two critical features that deliver even more value to the university. The first is instant campus safety. So you may be familiar with the blue emergency lampposts that universities have been placing sporadically across campuses. Well, we essentially take the concept of that and put it in the pocket of every member of the institution. When clicked, the user's location is sent directly to university officials or peers of their choice with their exact location, and people can respond directly to them right from within the app. Second to that, we developed a very powerful administrative console sort of for the university administrators to track usage metrics and analytics on how MESH is being used at the university. Beyond data analytics and usage statistics, university administrators also have the ability to deploy mass announcements and alerts to targeted groups on campus, such as all members, all students, or all faculty. With MESH, learning happens because information is actually shared. Engagement occurs because people can communicate. Inclusion happens because we connect people. And because all of those things come together, retention increases. We deliver unique value to a university because we are the only real-time communication platform built specifically for higher education institutions. That includes the safety features, and that includes the powerful administrative console. Our market is the entire higher education market across the world, as we very quickly realized at this show. Before, we were thinking of just targeting American institutions, and we quickly realized that there's a very big need for something like this across the world. With 130 million students currently enrolled in higher education, that brings our total addressable market to somewhere around $750 million in annually recurring revenue. We developed a very budget-friendly revenue model where the university licenses MESH for $6 per student per year. That comes down to about 50 cents per month. What universities typically do with that fee is they pass it down to students in the form of a technology fee in their tuition payments. Some schools do, some schools don't. We found this to be extremely affordable for many of the universities that we've been talking to at the show. This is great because faculty and staff are free. Mesh is a Now product in a Now market and tailor-made specifically for universities. We've been currently working with Miami University and Colorado State Universities to deploy pilots. We've become FERPA compliant, verified by a third party, and Section 508 compliant to enable full accessibility of the product to any student or user with disabilities. Let's see. Mesh was built completely by students and faculty. Every member of our team is either a current or former student, a current or former faculty member, and our chairman is actually a senior software company executive who has had success previously scaling software as a service companies. We're also advised by higher education professionals and consultants from across the country. Thank you.
Thanks.
Feels good to be done.
Thanks, Mac. Hey, question for you. So in terms of the price point, understand the $6 billing for students. What's your go-to-market? How do you guys think about acquiring customers? Obviously, you just launched here, right?
Absolutely. So a lot of it is through a pilot program. So we're allowing universities to test out the tool and select departments, select colleges within the university, try it out for free, no charge. What we find is that once you get people on it and starting to use it, it's hard for them to take it away. So that's a very good entry point.
Got it. And so those pilot programs, how long are you running those then?
About a semester.
Okay, thanks.
Tell me more about the product. So you said you can text everybody in your class, but give me some use cases about how students are using it.
Absolutely. So what we do is we go into University Student Information System and we connect to their student information system and extract that data so that a student just signs in with their university email and password. Once they're in, they see the courses that they're currently enrolled in. They click a class, and there's a group communication for that class. And we do the same thing for actually faculty and staff with student organizations, committees, departments, really every different unique area of campus that's relevant to the specific user that's signing in. And it becomes this campus-wide communication tool where you're able to search for me because of the fact that we're part of the same university. I don't have to go and get your personal phone number. And the counter side of that is if you are contacting me and I don't want you contacting me, I can block you. So that's that. It's very discoverable. And in terms of the use cases, the uses are really endless depending on who you're talking about. Faculty, staff, students. If I need to leverage my classmates and ask a question, share resources, files, links, ideas, whatever it may be, allows professors to continue the conversation outside of the classroom. And even if the professor doesn't want to be accessed, it's a great way for students to be able to leverage each other as resources, even if their professor chooses not to. Does that answer your question?
If funds were not the issue, where would you invest?
I'm sorry, what was that?
If funding was not an issue for you, is funding a challenge for you guys, or how are you monetizing today?
So to date, we've spent about $200,000, and we're currently in the middle. We're sort of in a weird area between sort of seed, Series A. We're doing fundraising right now. It actually opens after the show. We're calling it a Series A. And we've got a bunch of prospects looking to invest, and we're looking to close sort of by the end of the month.
Where are you planning to go with that?
Sorry?
Where are you planning to go with that?
Making sure our product scales and then distributing.
Just two pretty focused questions. Well, the first thing that went through my mind when you started talking about the group communication in the class, the first thing I thought of was, well, why doesn't the professor just set up a Slack channel for everyone to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. Great
So
question.
from that part, I'd love to hear your feedback on why not just use Slack. But then when you jump to the security piece, my brain had to catch up with that because I'm thinking, wait a second. We went from a communication app to a security app. So now what I'm thinking about is who's the targeted person at the university that purchases the app? Because
Right.
if you're doing a security cell, I think that's one person. But if you're doing a communication cell, that's another. So I'm getting a little confused around the value prop and who's going to spend money at the end of the day.
Right. It's sort of killing two birds with one stone, right? And the security functionality is actually an added feature. Universities have the ability to add that or not. I understand that universities are required to have some sort of mass announcement tool for emergencies. That's sort of the flip side, putting it in the pocket of the user. And our greatest challenge is who is our buyer at the university. Some people throw us to student affairs, some people throw us to IT services, some people throw us to enrollment management. We're experiencing our greatest success with chief information officers into IT. So that is our primary target. And in terms of the Slack question, that's a great question. We're often referred to as the Slack for higher education. And if a teacher sets up a Slack team for their one class, they have no ability to communicate with anybody else on campus. It's an enclosed class. So with Mesh, you go and integrate with the university, and each class is essentially one Slack team, and I can go and create an unlimited amount within my university. Does that make sense? Yeah. We're done? Any more? Cool.